In today's video, we're talking about ISO. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today's video is kind of a simple one. We're going to be talking about ISO. It's one of the fundamentals of photography, and it's probably directed mostly at beginner photographers that don't understand what ISO is or what it does. So I'm going to try and explain it in the simplest of terms. Now, first of all, let me just I'll make something clear, which is that when I say ISO, some people refer to it as ISO. So just understand that ISO and ISO are exactly the same things. It's just that some people prefer to say ISO and some people prefer to say ISO, but we are talking about exactly the same thing. So in the context of photography, ISO refers to sensitivity. So on your camera, you can change the value of your ISO, and what it means is that when you raise it to a higher value, the camera is going to be more light sensitive, and when you raise it to a lower value, the camera is going to be less light sensitive. Now, I say that and I need to clarify that you're not actually making the sensor more sensitive or less sensitive to light. It's an emulation, but it's trying to simulate a process that we first got introduced back in the film days. So back when we used to shoot film, you used to have a rating for each film. Some film was rated at ISO 100, other films were rated at, say, 320 or 640. And what it meant was that one film was more light sensitive than the other one. So if you had two cameras fitted with, one had ISO 100 film and the other one had a 6400 film in it, and everything else was the same, the shutter speed and the aperture. If you took a photo with each camera, the ISO 6400 film is going to show a much brighter photograph. So essentially that is how we use ISO. When we are in a situation where we don't have enough light, we raise the ISO so that the perception is that the camera is being more light sensitive, and so it allows us to shoot in darker environments. Now, some of you may be thinking, why don't you just leave the ISO value at a really high level so you never run into a situation where you don't have enough light? And I guess from an overall perspective, that does make sense, but there are some drawbacks when you raise your ISO, and that is that you introduce some noise. So if you've never heard of this before, or you've never seen noise in your photographs, it tends to come up when you're shooting in darker environments, particularly in the dark parts of a photograph, so in shadows and things like that. And you're going to start seeing a little bit of sort of sprinkling of multicolored pixels that looks like it looks almost like a static effect that goes over the top of your photograph, and that's just referred to as noise. Okay, and that happens when you crank up the ISO a little bit too much. Now, each camera they all behave differently. Okay, so each one of them has a level of ISO that you shouldn't go beyond, so it really is up to you to experiment to see how far you can drive your ISO before you start seeing some noise in your photographs. Again, it depends on the camera that you're using, so you're just going to have to experiment yourself. But the idea is that you only raise your ISO to the level that you need in order to get the photograph. So to get a photograph that is a little bit grainy is always a lot better than just not getting the photograph at all because there wasn't enough light for you to capture the image in the first place. And typically this is how photographers use ISO. They just increase the value when there's not enough light for you to capture the photograph that you're after. So as a general rule, you want to keep your ISO as low as possible because that's going to give you the cleanest file possible. Anyway, I've been getting a few questions about this, and that's why I thought that I would make a video to try and explain it. Hopefully I've made sense and you now understand what ISO is, but if you do have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. That's the best place to get in touch with me, or you can reach me through any of the usual social media platforms. You're going to find all the links in the description. If you found this video useful and you would like to support me, please don't forget to click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, consider doing so. I make videos like this every week to help you with your photography. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those, click the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.